Welcome to the IEEE Style Basics video series. My name is Teresa Calcagno, and I am the IT and Engineering Librarian here at Mason. This video series comprises 3 parts: IEEE paper format, citation basics, and creating IEEE citations. In Part 1, we will cover the parts of an IEEE paper, how they are organized, and the paper format. In Part 2, we will review why citations are important, when we must cite our sources, and when we don't need to cite anything. We will also talk about the 2 main types of citations. In Part 3, creating citations for different resource types, as well as some important formatting requirements will be reviewed. When you have completed this video series, there is a brief online exercise you also must complete and submit. We're going to start by taking a quick look at the first page of an IEEE published paper. The reason for doing this is to help you familiarize yourself with the IEEE paper format. This is very similar to what the first page of your paper will look like when it is finished. IEEE papers are formatted with 2 columns and single-spaced. In some journals, the abstract is in a single column, as is seen here, but in other papers, it conforms to the 2-column format, which is what you will be expected to do. The IEEE paper template that you will have access to includes the abstract in the 2-column format. The author's names, abstract, and the paper itself should be in a 10-point serif font, such as Times New Roman. The title is in 24-point font. The IEEE Style Manual on the Write and Cite page of the Cybersecurity, Systems Engineering, and ECE subject guides has more specific details about formatting should you want to use it. As you look at the example, note some of the parts of the paper on this page. They include the title, the abstract, index terms, and the introduction to the paper. Other information included is the names of the authors beneath the title, their affiliations, and their affiliations in the lower left corner. Also in the lower left corner is the article DOI number, as well as the publication timeline. Let's get into the details of an IEEE paper. The next several slides list the parts of the paper in the order you will see them and the type of information they contain. The title of a paper is very important. It is the first thing a researcher will see, so the title should be descriptive and related to the paper topic. This way, the researcher knows something about the paper just by reading the title. Remember, finalize your paper title after the paper is completed. This helps ensure that your title matches your paper well. Included with the title are the author's names. The order of the author listing for a group is something the group decides. There are no hard and fast rules for this. The order could be regular alphabetical order, or it could be reverse alphabetical order by last name. It could be done with the project leader first or the person who came up with the idea listed first. The title is followed by the abstract. In IEEE papers, the abstract is 150 to 250 words, and it summarizes your project, why and how you did it, and what you learned by doing it. The abstract is not usually written until the paper is finished, thus ensuring that the abstract aligns with the paper. Good index terms are important because they describe the topics covered in a paper. Index terms also make it easier for researchers to find the paper in a database. The index terms on the example paper may have been selected by the authors or assigned by IEEE staff. Frequently, natural language or common language keywords also may be provided by the authors. The introduction to a research paper is very important. It defines the scope and goals of the research project or paper. It also introduces the reader to the topic or the research questions that the authors hope to answer. The research questions are usually found near the end of the paper's introductions. The body of the paper is the largest part, and it usually comprises several sections, including the literature review, which examines research already completed that is related to the project. This section frequently contains many citations. There may be a methods section that describes how the research or experiment was done. There will be a results section where the data gathered or outcomes of the research are reported. Figures and graphs may be used to report this information. In the discussion or analysis section, the authors discuss and interpret the results. Figures and graphs related to the analysis or the interpretation of the data may be included here. The paper's conclusion section is a very brief recap of the project's findings, and it may also include suggestions or recommendations for further research on the topic. The optional acknowledgments section is used by authors to thank others for their help and support, including financial support. The people acknowledged could be mentors, faculty, or corporate sponsors. The last section of the paper is the references list. Unlike other styles, the IEEE references list starts immediately after the paper ends. It is not on a separate page, and it conforms to the two-column format. The reference section must list the complete information for all sources cited in the text of the paper. Sometimes it will also include information for sources that were consulted but not cited. Brief author bios may include pictures and will be found after the references. They conform to the two-column style. When you start writing your paper, consider using the IEEE Word template. All the formatting is already set up for you, and this could make the paper process much easier. Thanks for viewing Part 1 of IEEE Style Basics. If you have any questions, please email me at tcalcagn@gmu.edu. Please join me for Part 2, where we will talk about the need for citations in a research paper and the types of citations you must use.